Hello, I'm going to be painting this canvas today. Let's do this.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here and welcome if you're new here. My name is Samia. I am a pro creative from London. I am South Asian. I'm a 33-year-old woman who runs her creative business from her apartment and also from different locations around the UK. So in this video, I'm actually painting a canvas that I have been meaning to paint for a while, maybe a few weeks. My inspiration was a sketch / kind of rough painting that I did in my sketchbook, and I thought, oh my god, those colours look really good together and I love these patterns, so I'm going to transfer it to canvas. I have not painted on a canvas in 18 years, I believe, and I don't even recall where or when I bought this canvas. I may have had this canvas since I was 16 years old, so there's that. I have been following something called The Artist's Way, which is a book created by an artist called Julia Cameron, and it's all about unlocking your creativity if you are creatively or spiritually blocked. Now, lots of things can block us. It can be deadlines, stress, feeling fatigued, feeling like creativity isn't worth it because it doesn't have value in the society we live in, etc. So all of these things can actually block us even if we don't realize that we're blocked. And following her course that is free, it's a book, you can kind of unblock yourself. And so I read and followed this book, I think it was earlier this year, and I'm now just coming back to its philosophies. So I have been continuing to practice most of its philosophies, but as of late I've been making more of an effort to come back to it. So things like making time for play, making time for learning, and wasting time, quote unquote, on artistic endeavors that may not make you return on income straight away. So instead of being tired all the time, which I am, I'm a bit more conscious of what I'm doing with my time, so that I do carve out 1 or 2 hours. Obviously nothing is perfect, for things like this. So that's what I'm doing here. My favourite painters of all time. So I didn't actually have a favourite painter until I was 25 or something, and I've studied art my whole life. I just couldn't decide, and then I was standing in Van Gogh's museum in Amsterdam and just crying at the end of it, over the letters of him to his brother, and he had passed, and the love between his brother's family and Van Gogh, and how he basically struggled most of his life, and he was very liberal and quite, I don't know, had suffered from low moods, and I just also just love his work. So I do not love realism in art. I love realism in photography, which is what I do with my photography. I'm a documentary photographer. So in art, I like the complete opposite. I like expression. So I like it when art is as far away from the real as possible in order to say something, or evoke emotion. I find it more interesting. So I don't like realistic colours. I like to use completely different colour palettes. I love impressionism. I love abstraction. So those are the kind of things that I want to go towards in my art. And those are the things that really excite me and fascinate me, and I spend hours learning about and thinking about. So during this painting, I came across a few barriers. The paintbrush I chose to use, it was a great... I do enjoy that paintbrush. I did buy it in another vlog you can see earlier in my channel on something called an artist date, which, if you follow The Artist's Way, an artist date is an excursion that you're supposed to religiously take weekly, in which you waste hours of your life, and it's supposed to be frivolous, and it should be anything you want to do, and it shouldn't be productive, and it should be done alone. So I actually haven't been on an artist date in a long time, unless you count this painting as an artist date, which it could be, absolutely could be. But yeah, I went on an artist date and I was like, I want some watercolor paintbrushes that are portable so that I can sketch in my book on the go in locations and it won't hold me back. And this paintbrush is great for that. However, I found it hard to create the stems of the leaves, the vine leaves that I was trying to create. They were coming out too thick, and it was a mixture of the texture of the canvas and then the watercolor gouache, and then also this paintbrush that I was using. So that was my first barrier, and then the second barrier was the gouache, which I go on to talk about, and the third barrier were the Posca pens. So while I'm painting this painting, you should get your craft out, your painting out, your sketchbook out, your doodle book out. Do your creative thing next to mine. Leave me playing. Let me know what it is that you are trying to get better at, or what you are trying to explore. Maybe you don't want to get better at it. Not everything in life is about achieving. Sometimes life is to be lived and to be enjoyed. So what are you going to do for yourself today that is going to be just for your enjoyment and the betterment of yourself and your life? Let me know in the comments. I spoke to my high school, middle school, junior school art teacher, and she was telling me, because I went back to my old high school or middle school to teach as a photographer. I did some darkroom workshops for them. Anyway, prior to that, I was talking to my art teacher who now works there again, and she was saying, when I was 11 years old and I came to art for the first time, my eyes were popping out of my head. She said I was so fascinated, so alert, so attentive, so applying. And that's crazy to me because I don't remember that. And then the other thing she said to me was, I remember when I was 16 and I had finished a piece of paint, I think it was a painting, and she came to me and she was like, oh my God, this is great. And everyone was saying it was great. And she was like, what do you think? And I said, I don't like it. I didn't give a reason. I just said that I didn't like it. And she said, well, you never like your work, Samia. And then she said, spoken like a true artist. And I remember thinking, what? I hadn't realised until that point that I never like my own work. And then I thought, I don't want to speak like a true artist. I just want to like my own work. Anyway, those things are still some of the things that I still carry to this day. I would say both are quite true. Actively working on a skill means that you continue to improve, right? So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm also just trying to enjoy my life. And I did enjoy this process. I really loved not looking at my phone, not trying to check my phone all the time, not checking my emails all the time, not constantly worried about work or other life issues. Literally my mind is clear. It was fantastic. I put on an audiobook. I had the time of my life. Other times I just worked in complete silence, and that was bliss. I would like to keep painting more canvases, please. Let's go get our art supplies. Mission accomplished.
Floor 3.
Good morning, everyone. So as you have seen, I had to pop out to the art store this morning and grab these 3 fine markers, acrylic paint markers, for the detail in the painting. I don't know if I'll get to the detail yet. This is how it's looking. I started it late afternoon yesterday. I can't remember how long I spent on it, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3, I don't know. So today I have a couple of hours, then I'm teaching, then in the evening I have like a 4-hour photo shoot for a client. So it's a full-on art business day. Let's get it. Today I am using up my watercolor gouache. I don't recommend using gouache on canvas. I have treated the canvas so that it can take watercolor, and that's really helped the grittiness. But obviously when you try and layer watercolor, it can be tricky. So there are areas, let's flip. If I hold it up to the light, you can see that there are some areas lighter than others. That's it, I held up to the light. It looks quite cool actually. This is it not held up to the light, and it looks much more normal. I'm gonna see if I can do a second layer without lifting the layer below, which is quite hard because obviously water activates it. So I'm just gonna have to try my best, but I think I should do another layer. I have painted the edge as well, bright pink, so that would need another layer. And then once that layer has dried, can I only then go in with the fine liners to do all the detail work. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to try and get as much done as I can before I start teaching and then before I go to my photo shoot. So let's do this. So then I got out my easel that I bought almost a year ago in a sale. It was only £25. I think the full price was much higher. It is a very, very, very flimsy, lightweight metal easel, but it does the job for what I do. I can imagine it wouldn't do the job if you're working on a very big canvas, if it's an oil painting. I did almost knock it over and actually knock it over a couple of times. But it was good to get this out and not have to kind of bend over my table or hold the canvas in my arms while working. So that's nice. It reminded me of being in art school because we all used these when we were in art school. But in art school they have the very old wooden ones that are banged up and they have a lot of charm, which I love. So if anyone has an old easel they're going to throw away and it's banged up, please let me know. If you're in the London vicinity, I will come and get it. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing this. I really wanted to do it when the weather was good, but unfortunately the summer in London was really bad this year and it rained most of the time. And I'm on the top floor, there's no cover to my balcony, so I couldn't just get out there on the balcony and paint, but maybe I can in my coat during a sunny day in the winter. That could be an idea. The easel is called Jacquard Aluminium Easel with telescopic legs, and I bought it on the 11th of March 2022 during a sale and it was £24.95. All the paints I'm using are all just Winsor & Newton watercolour gouache, and I don't remember the brand name of that paintbrush, and I don't have the plastic wrapper it came in, but it's just a generic. It wasn't a big brand name or anything, but it works really well. I think it was around £4. I really liked the blue and green with the white background on the canvas just earlier in the footage, so that could be a combination that I can play around with later, do another iteration of this. That pink pigment is one that I chose and I got for my birthday. It's just like, I don't know, it's just like a party for my eyes. The whole thing is like a party for my eyes, and I just love bright colours that clash. So yeah, I use a lot of complementary pairings, and I love it. These flower patterns are very cultural and something that my mum used to draw to me. Hello. I've done all the pink and then I've had lunch and I've packed up my camera bag for tonight's photo shoot. It's all ready now, so all I have to do is paint, and then I'm going to teach on Zoom, and then as soon as the class is over, and then I have to commute, and then I'll get there early. So I leave around 4:30. The shoot call time is 6 p.m. till 9:30 p.m. So let's continue painting. So I have been painting and drawing these Asian or South Asian inspired flowers. They're inspired by South Asian henna design and henna patterns. My mother used to draw them for me and my brother when we were children, and there's a huge age gap between my brother and my cousins and myself, so she drew them for all of them when they were younger, and then they became adults, and then I used to ask her to draw them for me, and then eventually she just stopped, and now she's unable to draw them. So if you don't use a skill, you do lose it. I couldn't remember exactly how she used to draw them. I just found my own way of drawing them, essentially. I'm done with the green and the pink, so I'm gonna move on to the second layer of the blue. If you're enjoying this video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future videos. I post every week about art and about running a creative business and about taking care of yourself. Okay, so I have now completed the blue layer. The only problem is the blue has lifted more than all the other colours. With the blue, the second layer, it has lifted more because I am using watercolour gouache, because that's all I have. I think it's the most prominent with the blue because the blue is a darker pigment. I'm mixing a darker colour to apply, so it's not too bad there, but here it's quite bad because obviously the water reactivates and it scrapes the paint off, which is super annoying. So that's all I can do for today. I have done the all the borders here, and I just need to flip the canvas and do the underside, and then I'll have to end there for today. And then tomorrow I can maybe try going over the blue bits again, and then I can finally go in with my fine liners and add all the detail. I'll leave the details to my social media down below. My name is Samia Creative on Instagram. Second account, which is simply .amplified as well. Good morning everyone, it's a new day. It's actually Saturday. Yesterday's shoot went really well. I didn't get home till 11:30 after work. I was exhausted. I'm going to be editing those photos during the week next week. So today we are going to be finishing up this painting. So this is how she's looking. I might touch up the blue here. Let me have a look at it. So as I said, I am using the watercolour gouache, which isn't ideal for this really, as I'm not trying to get a watercolour effect. So really, I need to go out and buy acrylic gouache. But I wanted to use my supplies and what I had, so that's what we're doing. Yeah, because the blue pigment is the darkest, where I've reapplied the paint, you can see a little bit of patchiness, and that's just because watercolour is always activated with water. And so when I add new paint, it has water in it, so even though I try to mix it thick, it still kind of picks up bits. I can either give it another go or just go in with the detail. The pink and the green looks great and I don't need to do anything to that. So I guess I'm going to try the blue again with very minimal water and see how that works. And then I've got to let it dry a little bit. The good thing with this kind of watercolour gouache is that it dries very fast. And then is the best part, I can go in with the acrylic paint markers and actually add all the detail that should bring this piece together. Let's do it. What I always come back to, my iteration or my example of my take on the traditional South Asian henna patterns. I'm always drawing them over and over and over again throughout my whole life, and I thought, why have I never painted them on a canvas? Like, this is so significant for me, my family, my lineage, my culture, my ancestry, etc. Why have I never honoured a canvas? Like, why have I never deemed it good enough to go on a canvas? So this is me starting a series, exploring what comes out of me when I do these on a canvas. I go into a meditative state and I don't really have to think. I didn't really have a layout for these flowers and these vines. I did for the flowers because I used a sketch that was of a similar orientation, but the flowers no. I mean, the vines no. But they just flow out of me, really. And I just need to get used to using canvases again and get the correct paint, and I can see what comes out. And I really want to explore this on a large scale. I want to do big canvases with this repetitive kind of design. So yeah, let's see what the future holds. Go ahead and let me know what your favourite thing is to paint. And if you have any tips for myself and just for the art community, we can share the love. I want to thank you so much for being here and for watching this video, and a huge thank you if you watch all of my videos. I really appreciate it. 70% of you that watch my videos are not subscribed, so don't forget to subscribe today. I also want to tell you about my amazing students, my amazing differently abled creative women that I teach who live across the United States. I've been teaching them for 3 years about all things creativity, but mainly photography. And they actually have an upcoming Halloween photography show that we're going to launch on November 4th, and we're all going to dress up, and they've been doing some amazing ghost photography and Halloween movie remake scenes at very, very high quality. I'm incredibly proud of them. We actually have a class fundraiser, as we are a grassroots project, meaning we are not a huge organisation, nor do we have means and access to huge funds, and are not backed by any brand. So we are open to partnerships. If you would like to work with us, that would be amazing. But if not, that's okay. We do have a class fundraiser on GoFundMe to realise the dreams of these incredible young women and have an in-person photography exhibit for the first time in their lives, after 3 years of hard work and 3 years of virtual exhibitions held. So if you are in the position to, and you would like to, we would be so very grateful if you could make any donation of any size. No donation is too small. I will leave their GoFundMe in the description box, along with the class YouTube channel, and their Instagram is Our Eyes Photography Collective. Even if you cannot donate, we truly appreciate if you just share the GoFundMe on your social media. That means so much to us. Even telling one extra person, that's one extra person that we in our small community are unable to reach. And each and every one of us, myself, each of the young ladies and their families, are so profoundly grateful for anyone taking the time to check out their work and their fundraiser. So we truly appreciate you. Here I am just going in with the Posca paint markers in red, orange and light blue. They are the 3mm nib. Yeah, I'll tell you my thoughts about using them in a minute, but it was a hit or miss experience, and I don't really recommend using them professionally at all. And they were just incredibly messy. They got my clothes on the floor, and they are permanent ink, so they're just super annoying. So at the moment it's going well. It is hard to use these on the canvas because it skips, because the canvas is textured, and obviously it dries out and then you have to like pump it, but then you have to clean off the ink, otherwise it ruins the painting because it all spills out. I think it would be easier if it was on my lap and I was like drawing it on like flat, but I'm still waiting for the flowers to dry and I'm too impatient, so I'm gonna just carry on. Adding these final touches is always the fun part and my favourite part, and it's just so satisfying to do and to watch back. I had to switch the canvas to my lap here because of the Posca pens. We're nearing the end of the video now, It was so fun to hang out with you. I hope you enjoyed this artist time. Let me know in the comment section about how you thought this painting turned out, and I'll see you soon. Okay, so here is what the painting is looking like after I've used the Posca markers. The Posca markers are also very hard to use. If you know, you know, but they are horrible. It's still ink there, even though I was very careful, and also there. With the red, it was just the hardest to do. There's something wrong with the red pen, so we were just skipping and stopping. I'm not sure if I should have got a brighter red, but in my original sketch it is a dull red like this, so all the colours match exactly. I think the colours work really well together, which is why I wanted to paint it on a canvas, but because I'm using gouache watercolour, I can't. It's just very hard to layer on a canvas, even though I've treated the canvas to take watercolour, but because I'm not looking for a watercolor effect, obviously it doesn't make sense. However, it's the only paints that I have and I wanted to use them. I bought the markers specifically. They were £11 something for 3, and the blue one worked the best. The orange one was okay. I would go over it, but because of how terrible they are, I know it's not going to go smoothly, so I'm just going to leave the markers. I just wish they were as saturated as the blue were. The blue was flowing really well and it was saturated. But yeah, other than those 2 touch-ups, I'm basically done, and I just have to write my name on the canvas now. Thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Bye.